Yeah, thank you very much, all of you. First of all, I think it's important to say it was a important victory, of course, against a team that is very well organized, that has very difficult players to play against in terms of their dimension of speed in their transitional moment. Very difficult to cope with them. They've been racing and creating problems to almost all the teams they play against. A team that is clearly coached by someone that knows what he does. I think it's important to tell that because I played the third time against TS Galaxy, and it's clear how the team is hard to beat. But anyway, the most important word is to give to my players the way they were focused throughout all the match. They were able to resist some of the incidents of the match. I think it's not easy. You start, you make a goal, or you create situations, you don't score, and you have to come at halftime with the draw. But anyway, a big commitment, energy from the players that went in order to bring different challenges on the pitch for the opponent. I think that we created, it was a very interesting, I don't know if you paid attention, very tactical in terms of tactical changes in the pitch. A lot of tactical changes in order to try to create the spaces and break that defensive line that sometimes was a four man, sometimes a five, sometimes a six, according to the position lower and higher of our people outside. And finally, we broke that organization. We were able to score. I think that the story of this game is obviously what we could have done more in terms of goals scored, because it's massive, the impact of the team in the game, considering ball possession, shots, and entries on the box, a number of passes in the last third, even the number of passes in general. But well, quite a good, interesting, and well played game.
Maybe coach will take questions.
Coach Cardoso from Hope Video. Coach, were you hard done by some of the decisions that went against the team? I mean, the 20th minute we saw that an advantage was not given and they stopped the game, yet to get to a goal later on as well. Like Sailor was able to score a goal, which was then also not ruled in your favor. Do moments like that make your team, because we saw that you also like frustrated with those like decisions, does that create even more like frustration for the team and put pressure more perhaps to try and find a goal and for the players not to perform the way that you want them to?
I understand your question, and of course, I'm always okay since I don't get naked on the bench. Everything is okay. I just don't want to be naked on the bench. The rest is we try to be able to sustain the aggressivity of whatever happens. Everybody that is inside the pitch wants for sure to do the best. Sometimes referees they make mistakes. I'm not gonna now try to say if it was a mistake or not. It's up to you as journalists also to look the images and speak. I don't want to be polemic, and I should not. I'm also part of the game, and as part of the game, I should try to not allow the waters to boil. And when I'm on the bench, it's my job to try to keep my team with the right emotions. And to have the right emotions, there must be a very strong mindset on the behaviors. That's what I told them at halftime. Please, guys, forget everything. I don't want no one discussing and making things you should not do inside the pitch in terms of behaviors towards referees, towards the opponent, so that you don't get yellow cards you don't deserve to get. Like, for example, we had one against Pirates by kicking one ball on the stands. Those kind of things I also don't accept from my players. So I always say we should work on what we control. And what we control is our behaviors, collective, individually. Today, I told them a story before we enter on the pitch, how everybody needs to bring each drop of water to put on the fire and let the fire go down. So that we basically, how everybody should give the best in order to contribute individually to a team performance. And that's what they focused on. I think that the changes added different challenges for the opponent. The opponent was adapted to a way of setting the team that we had as a start idea. But then when we brought different things, it was more difficult for them to cope with that. And after we scored the first goal, of course, you understood the substitutions from TS Galaxy in order to put energy in the front to try to obviously work on the spaces. We are always a team that wants to have the ball. So when we have the ball, you need to open yourself. So you are always a little bit exposed. And in the last 10 minutes, I asked with the entrance of Pizzo trying to have more control and bringing Marcelo to a more stable position together with Teboho, and the inversion of Obre inside gave us the stability to cope with those changes. So quite happy with the behavior of the boys, quite happy with the level of game that was played, and most of all, of course, important to collect the points and focus on what we control and forget the diversion that can take us to not focus on what is important.
Coach Sabah from Sokalatuma. You mentioned Vito Kulisi. He's getting minutes on the pitch. What is he maybe doing right in training to get more minutes? And I'm happy with what he's giving you. And Ikram today, was he okay? I mean, some of the chances that he was missing, it looked unusual for Ikram to be missing opportunities like that.
You know that for a long time I'm here already, and you heard me speaking about players and goals and scoring and not scoring. I remember last year there was a moment we were discussing Lucas Ribeiro not scoring, and then I said the goals are like ketchup. When we start, sometimes poof, they fall, and it happened that exactly. I'm. If you saw the play that resulted in the goal of Arthur is a fantastic action from Mikan Reiners. And that's what we wanted when we brought him in the pitch, so that he could make these movements on the space that he's so clever to do. That has nothing to do with Peter not doing it. The Peter just had a lot of job, a lot of work in terms of energy to also break those center backs, giving them fatigue, so that when Peter entered and Ikram entered and start to make those movements, it's very difficult for the defenders to cope with. Basically, that's also how coaches need to help the team. Pizzo is a player we believe is an identity of the club. He's someone that can bring obviously control on the matches. In the game of Pirates, we needed that in that moment. In this game, we also needed that. Nuno was getting tired. Nuno today in the morning woke up with a little pain on one of the legs, so I wanted to prevent him of the last part of the match in order to avoid any kind of increased risk of injuries. Pretty happy with the work of Pizzo. Pizzo is a 100% top professional. He works the same since the first day I arrived here till today. Always the same. It's very difficult to see Pizzo in a day that he's not working serious and hard. So it's just a matter of managing the moments and believing in everybody.
Coach, can we get your reaction to the Champions League draw? And in terms of the squad, how far are you from being happy with the squad for where you want it to be to challenge for both the league and the Champions League?
Look, I think it's important, obviously, that we understand that regarding the squad, no coach, even when coaches come on the press conference and they say they are happy, no coach is really happy. All coaches want to increase the level of their squads, but January is still far from now. We should just focus on the level of performance we can raise from the players we have, and we have a lot of potential to be raised. Players that still didn't play regularly, players that are raising the level, and unfortunately, we have still players that let's hope they can come back in 2 weeks' time, because before 2 weeks' time, no one will be available. But after 2 weeks, probably the team will be reinforced by the players we have inside already, and that is my happiness. Is that I know we have players inside the club that can help us a lot. So that's my expectation now. Regarding Champions League, guys, look, I didn't even have time to think about that, because as you might imagine, the focus of a coach that played 3 days ago against or 4 days ago against the Pirates and then has to play TS Galaxy in such important game, the focus is now, or was until now, on that. From now on, in 2 days we have a friendly match to play. Then the players will leave for the Bafana Bafana. Let's hope they can come all in conditions, and in proper time we'll start thinking about Champions League matches.
Coach Marcela from Mamelodi Sundowns. I spotted something, I don't know if you saw it. At the weekend, the referees were making a change top because it clashed. And I looked at the referee and they looked like they were wearing the same clothes as TS Galaxy. Did you spot that?
Look, I don't want to be polemic. I will just explain what happened on the weekend so that is clear for everybody, because Don't think it's the coach that now decides to change the 3 times the shirt, even because the second time I had to dress the shirt that was for my assistant, sweated, small size compared to my body. It was obviously not beautiful. What I need you to understand is that I was in dark blue, Pirates place in black. It seems that it was creating some disturbance, my color on the assistant referee on the other side. So I was asked to change my shirt around 25th minute, I think. I said the referee that I would do it, of course, but I had to go in the locker room. But I always have 2 or 3 polos because we during the moment we are in hotel we change 2 3 times different colors according to what our team managers give us as instructions. But I expected that the bus would be closed because the driver for sure is watching the match. So I told him, please, can you hold till halftime so that then I can ask my polo and dress my white polo because I have a white polo on my bag that is in the bus. The referee told me, no, you need to change or I give you a red card. So I ran inside, as you understood. I went running inside because I was expecting to find something in the locker room or a bib or something to dress. The locker room was closed. So I came back running on the pitch. When I came back, I explained to him exactly what happened. I said, look, I have no way to change because the locker room is closed. And as I told you, my polo is, and he said, or you change in 1 minute or I'll give you a red card. So I had 1 minute to change. That's the moment I got dressed naked inside the pitch. What I asked him, look, I'm going to receive a yellow card because of being naked. He said, no, it's my responsibility. You change here. It's not beautiful to put a man naked in a football game, but that's what happened to me. Obviously, my family stayed, my mom and my papa, they stayed embarrassed because they were asked, and Portugal appeared the coach in a photo naked in a football game. My wife didn't stay happy, of course, and my son stayed what is happening there. So I think the situation was not beautiful regarding the coach. I dressed the t-shirt of my assistant coach that was completely sweat because he was on the warm-up for the match. So I was during 25 minutes in a very discomfortable situation with a shirt that is not my size, sweated. Thank God Fabio is a clean man and he was perfumed, so that was not smelling bad. But that was the situation I was at halftime. So then at halftime, of course, naturally I changed for the white polo. There was no issues between me and the referee. I just followed his instructions. He tried to, but he was clear instruct to give me order to change. So I acted according. Our talk directly was without any kind of clash. We just spoke. I tried to ask him permission to keep it till halftime. He said, you need to change coach. So I had to change. So that's what happened. Anyway, I think it's also your job to take a look on recent matches between teams that wear black on their dress, how the coach usually dresses, and their assistant coaches, and you'll see that they usually dress dark blue and black. So I don't see why the reaction towards me was different, but I always follow instructions and I don't want polemic on this. It's okay, it's done, it's finished. Let's go. Today I came in yellow, and from now on, also I will ask always my team manager at which color I should dress to go on the match. And of course, we just expect that the fourth referee looks the benches before the match starts. Look one bench, look the other, checks if the coaches are okay, and that is the moment to tell us that we are not okay, and then we have time still before the match starts to go to change. So no polemic, finish is okay. It was everything okay between me and the referees, and no issues at all.
And today, did you see that the referees were wearing the same as?
I didn't really notice. But I leave anything you should yourselves pick photos from other matches. Well, but it's finished. There's no polemics. Finish. Move forward. Myself, believe me, I will be 100% more careful on the future to bring even on the bench if I need, or give someone another polo or another thing or a jacket different color so that I don't need to get naked. That I didn't like myself. It's my body. It's privacy from myself. I didn't like to be exposed. I try to be fit, but whatever it is, for example, I have tattoos in some parts of my body that are hidden because I know that I'm a public person. I don't want to have my tattoos exposed. And otherwise, I would have tattoos in parts of my body that people can see. So I don't like to be exposed. That is private part of my body. So I should be preserved as a human being from that.
Thanks, coach. This is Malika from City Press. Hey, coach, are you happy with the points tally at this stage of the season? And also, do you think this might perhaps be that season where the league is won with less points than in the past two seasons or so.
I just didn't understand. You asked me if I was happy with.
The points that you have
Ah,
accumulated so far at this stage of the season.
look, of course, I'm not happy with the points that we have in the moment, but that is something that comes from the beginning of the season. Unfortunately, we lost points in matches that we should have won. But I also understood from the very beginning of the season that the conditions, and it's a talk that I spoke so much. I don't want to come always with this talk because people is starting to say the coach always brings the excuses, and now it's you coming with these questions. But our start of season was not as normal as it should have been. By the fact that we went on a Club World Cup, we didn't have time to prepare as we should. Let's go over that. Of course, I'm not happy. No one is happy inside Mamelodi Sundowns. That doesn't mean that we don't understand why that is also happening. What we are working strong is that after we were able to put the things on the proper path to accumulate the most number of points possible. But we know that the league will be. We knew it from the very beginning that the league would be tough. I spoke already about that. Competition is got better. Competition is fighting hard. It comes already from the last season. But what we want is to shape our character in a way that we are so strong and have such attitude that no one can destroy and break our attitude, nobody. So that's our job, is to become strong, not relate with the other ones, and try to respect the concurrence, being as best as possible. And then we'll see when things will. Yesterday, I was listening to the coach of Paris Saint-Germain after losing with Bayern Munich. He was saying, let's arrive on March, April, and see how things will be. That's what we need to do. Until then, we need to accumulate points because we lost points where we should have not lost in the beginning of the season. It's true, absolutely true.
Lorenzo, and also, coach, do you think that this season, the way it is this season with the AFCON and everything, do you think the league, the team that will win the league, will maybe win it with way less points than last season?
Let's see what is going to happen ahead. What I predict is that it will be a very competitive league probably until the end. Yes, I predict so.
We'll take the last two questions, starting with Lauren.
Coach, obviously, we saw Reyners and Salas come off from the bench and they regular starters in your lineup since you've arrived. So, how important is it to send a message to the squad that when they get opportunities, they need to take these opportunities, especially coming from the bench and even coming from the stands into the starting 11 in order for you guys to meet your objectives this season?
I think it's a clever question, of course, and an important one. Look, sometimes we make changes because we want to give opportunities to other players, but most of the times when a coach that is trying to find a clear way building the team now that he has the availability of some of the players that he had not before, it's clear if you think about what happened with us since the beginning until now, you understand that still we lack some things, still we lack some players, still we lack availability. It's easy to say Miguel, for example, he played only one Champions League match because unfortunately he got a red card, so we still don't know the impact that Miguel can bring on the team. Tsiki, he had two appearances on the team. The question on changing today Tsiki has not to do with not being happy with what he was doing, has much more to do with what we needed to bring in the game to create other challenges to the opponent. And I think they were adapted to what we were doing. We needed something more. And unfortunately, Arthur is suffering from a small problem also that is limiting him a little bit. And I wanted to give him some air so that now, together with the break, the international break, we can recover him for the Champions League matches. But it's true that when we put a player that regularly he doesn't play, and that we also have some symptoms because we see how they train, we see how they perform in the friendly matches. We have expectations that things happen well, and if they happen well, obviously it's more easy for the player to get an affirmation. because when a player gets a chance and he plays very good, it's very difficult for a coach to take him out, because he needs to respect the work that the player did. This has nothing to do with the substitutions we did. We did substitutions in order to bring different challenges to that team of Galaxy that needed to face other problems that we were not able to create with them. And I think that we gave them that. So we gave them a little bit of one poison, and then we needed to give another bit of another poison so that we could find it's like a doctor when he puts antibiotics. Sometimes the first one doesn't work, he needs to change because the virus is not reacting. And it's a little bit of that the coach has to. Of course, that I stay very happy that I've made the substitutions and they brought one goal. Sometimes things work like that, and the coach is the best in the world. Sometimes he makes the same substitution or similar, and happens something different. The coach is not good when substitutions bring goals, and he's not bad when substitutions don't bring goals. The coach is always the coach, tries to make the best decisions, and sometimes it's coincidences. But I'm happy that, of course, players brought energy, but for them to bring energy, the other ones that were on the pitch had also to give a lot so that in that moment they could flourish and appear. So pretty happy with the team. I'm really happy with my boys today. Really, really happy, because it was a very difficult match, guys. This team of TS Galaxy is not is a team that deserves respect by the work of their players and the coaches together.
Good evening, Coach. From Soccer Beat. Coach, one of the positives, as you are speaking about positives right now, is that for the first time in 5 league games, the team today managed to keep a clean sheet. Just how important was that?
Yeah, that comes also from stability. Not easy to play against this team, but we had that challenge last week. We discussed it a lot, that question of not suffering goals. Unfortunately, I think that the lack of stability that we had from the beginning of the season made us suffer goals that we're not used to. Despite, obviously, last campaigns have been, let's say, marked by stability and good performance on goals scored and goals suffered, and no goals not conceded. But obviously, stability brings that. But also, we need to understand that teams are always fighting to find how to create problems to us. And you see that most of the teams, they rely on quick players and speed and balls on the back. And we played 2 games where we received so many balls on the back. The Pirates match second half was all of it, that pattern, and this match also a lot of that. It's very difficult to counter press teams that don't play. They try not to build, because you go to press and the ball goes on the back. So you need to be 100% focused to understand how to control that space, and your players in the front need to run a lot. This week, if you could listen, Arteta was speaking about that, how much the players in the front need to give their best in order to block as much as possible the transitions from the opponents and these long balls. But when the other team doesn't play and just one time, boom, one pass, boom, it's very difficult, because you want to go to counter press, but there's no, because already when you arrive, the ball is already not there. So pretty difficult to work defensively against this kind of pattern of game, but we need to get better on it, because that's how teams set back and want to aggress us. We need to get better and better and better, for sure.